Hey, what up, everybody? It's Stevie Breach coming to you. Had an early morning this morning. I've been listening to a lot of wrestling podcasts, listening to reviews of the Night of Champions show, and people thinking about what is going to be going down on Monday Night Raw. And basically, a lot of people are thinking that WWE is going to overreact due to the injury to Roman Reigns and reach out and try to bring in a star to try and fill the role. And the big name that's being tossed around out there is Batista. I made a video after SummerSlam when basically the wrestling world was doing the same thing, thinking that John Cena was going to lose at SummerSlam, and because of the German suplexes and because of the beating he took, he was going to be laid out and he was just going to basically go home, try and recuperate and take some time off. I believe that take some time off and John Cena in the WWE is never going to happen. I think that John is going to be, as long as there's no other second commitment, whether it's a movie, whether if it's a signing, whether if it's something like that, he's going to be working 24/7. I don't see John Cena sitting at home unless there's no WWE show for him to be at. I think he's going to work as many house shows, as many TVs, as many pay-per-views, as anything else he can do in order to spread the WWE brand, which only makes the John Cena brand bigger. Is going to happen. But I think a lot of people are thinking that they need somebody to bring in, and Batista would be that guy to fill that role. Honestly, in my mind, I can see them going with Triple H versus Batista at WrestleMania. That's a match that has been thrown out there that a lot of people are saying Batista wants that to be his retirement match, that he wants to have that as his go home to sign his career off on and say thank you very much to the fans, and that'd be his final go home program. But honestly, right now, I don't see where Batista fits into the WWE. Honestly, he is a big star coming off of his big Marvel movie. I think that definitely it is going to get some sort of a press that a guy like Batista is coming in there. But you got to think if he's going to be putting on his movie career on hold, you got to be thinking that they've already picked up the sequel to the movie. No word on when that is shooting, but definitely his name it's got to be bouncing around Hollywood, where people are throwing scripts at him, trying to get him to read for anything to come in and come see Batista. Former WWE star, big star of the Marvel movie. He's taken on a large role, and basically when the movie reviews came out, not only from wrestling fans but from normal movie critics, basically they really shined on how great he was in his role, and I don't really see him blowing up and being what The Rock was, but you can definitely see him moving into having some sort of a movie career that shines. I just don't see where he fits in though. You definitely got John Cena versus Brock Lesnar as the rematch on Hell in the Cell coming up. Roman Reigns, is sort of going to get filled. It looks like Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. The only guy that's sort of left out in the cold right now is Randy Orton. Who knows what they're going to do with him? Randy Orton versus Batista would make sense, based off the whole Batista quitting on Evolution and basically walking out on the WWE after Triple H said that if he got a title shot, he would only blow it. But to me, honestly, to bring Batista back only to put him into an angle that doesn't involve the title or anything big, just to have a match with Randy Orton, just feels unfulfilling. Jericho versus Orton on the pay-per-view was a very, very good match that basically everybody knew that Randy Orton was going to win, but basically people got behind it. I don't think that if Batista comes back, people are going to hate him. I think that was just because everybody was really pushing for the Yes movement. Everybody wanted to see Daniel Bryan move in there, and they wanted to show WWE that basically they were wrong. And I think by looking at WrestleMania 30 and how great that show was, Batista was a great character on that show. Triple H had a big part of it, opening up the show, wrestling against Daniel Bryan, and having a great match, and then also coming and getting involved with the I guess it was a handicap match, but I guess it was also a three-way with Batista, Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan. That's honestly going to be one of the best WrestleManias of all time in my mind. I mean, the only thing that I was really bored for was Lesnar versus Undertaker, because I was so sure that Undertaker was going to win that match, and boy oh boy was I wrong. And I haven't watched that match back yet, but I'm sure that the next time I see it, because of the historical moment that happens in there with the streak ending, I'm sure that I will be more into that match from here on out. When I do watch back WrestleMania 30. But when I listened to the Batista on Chris Jericho podcast, everybody points out the fact that Batista's ready to come back. He wants to do it. But I don't think anybody ever really picked up the fact that he wasn't a big fan of what creative done for him. And he did say the words, he wants to have creative control over his character. And I think that is a dangerous, line for WWE to go on. I don't really see Batista being, the Hulk Hogan of WCW, basically saying when and where and how he's going to win and lose the championship. But Batista isn't a big fan of the PG sort of thing. He did, say that Vince gave him some creative freedom to be out there. He let him do some things that, is sort of against the rules for WWE, and you throw in a nut shot here and there and stuff like that, and he really liked that. But, he doesn't like, the no blood. He doesn't like the, the language barrier that he can't, really speak his mind when he thinks it's time, because WWE feels that kids are watching, a final segment of WWE Monday Night Raw that airs at basically almost, if it's the last segment, I guess it is airing at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And what those kids are doing, I have no clue. That's what AM Raw, and that's what This Week in the WWE is for. Pay those editors to take that language out and things like that. It's just the time slots that they have. Even if you really think about the 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, even though it is on Friday night and kids aren't going to school the next day, even that, you could easily say isn't really a kids' television time slot anyways. And somebody might argue that, on the West Coast it's not there, not in that time slot. But I don't know. I'm always going to think of it as sort of adult, entertainment. I knew that, when I was watching Monday Night Raw, when I was a kid during the Attitude Era, even though I was a little bit older, I definitely knew that I was staying up past my bedtime, and that my mom probably didn't enjoy that I was watching that program. Actually, I won't even lie. My mom hated that I watched wrestling back in the day. But in my mind, I don't see Batista coming back. I think that this right now is just a whole bunch of talk. I don't think it's really to fill up podcasts and shows. I think that there must be something behind the story that people actually think that he might be coming back. And I definitely feel that he is somebody that people want to come back. I think that the story was that, WWE didn't do a whole lot of promoting of the Marvel movie because they actually asked Marvel to pay for the spots in order to promote the show, thinking that, WWE was going to bring a lot of people because Batista was there. But I think, honestly, they plugged Mick Foley's book when he was in TNA in a book that was entitled Countdown to Lockdown, a TNA pay-per-view. Just because, Vince thought it was the right thing to do for Mick Foley and everything that he did for his company during the Attitude Era, as sort of a payback and a way to say thank you to plug his book. And, here, Batista, comes back, does WrestleMania 30, and was really a big name that came and sparked a lot of interest, before the Royal Rumble, and really, got people into that, that road to WrestleMania. And they didn't even do one little, this is Batista walking the red carpet at his movie. They didn't do anything. I guess they have the storyline they can fall back on and say this is why we didn't do it, is because he walked out on WWE. But, Brock Lesnar, due to his contract, has quit WWE 2 or 3 times. And they just bring him back like there's no tomorrow. Triple H just walks out there like, it's best for business. I called him up, told him to come on back. But I just don't see Batista coming back. I don't see Batista coming back in a month. If he does come back, maybe you can say he's a Royal Rumble guy in January again. See if that hopefully fits in with his schedule due to the sequel already being laid out for him to shoot that. And we'll see. He says he wants one more big run. Hopefully he can get him and Triple H. They did one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time, WrestleMania 21, the end of Evolution. With Batista becoming the true main eventer by beating Triple H. And I know there's a few people who have done that, but he was honestly one of the first guys to beat Triple H once he had sort of moved into that spot where everybody said that he was, he didn't put anybody over, and he made a huge star in Batista. He brought him up from nothing. With Evolution, if you think about, before Evolution, Batista was just hanging out with Devon in a suit with no sleeves, trying to get money from the crowd. And next thing you know, he's the main event of WrestleMania. So he had a great career, and it's a lot thanks to Triple H. So that would make a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense if they actually did that match. But I don't see Batista fitting in on Monday Night Raw tonight. So that's it. Peace out.